Millionaire. I am so happy that you are here. I am so happy that I've gotten this wonderful opportunity very recently to get to spend time with some incredible people. I have gotten to go hang out with very successful, wonderful people very recently over in St. Bart's in the Caribbean, which is just delightful, just amazing. I love that I had the opportunity to do that. I'm going to share a little bit of that with you. I am going to share a little bit as I mute the window so that I can see everybody's comments. I am very excited to get to share this week's take on how joy and profit, joy and income, joy and growing your business come together. So I'm very excited for all of that. And I cannot wait to see what you guys think about everything. I hope that folks are seeing this out in the interwebs for those who are live. But if you are not, I do see Lucy's here. Charity May is here. Thank you. Kim Ann. Hey, Mom. Good to see you. And then we've got hopefully some people that'll scope out the YouTube link as well. So I'm really focused on this episode on this concept. This concept that there are certain simple things that we forget to do that make us happy, that make us feel more connected with the world, that make us remember that it's not just about busting your butt 24/7. It's not just about this attempt to grow and improve and be relentless, being relentless at all times. It is not just about that. Sometimes it is about the simple things that we forget to do that have always made us feel a little bit happier, that have always made us feel like we are a part of something bigger and that the small problems that we're facing on a day-to-day basis don't matter. Or at least they don't matter as much as we are making them out to matter. And hey to Andy, and hey to Deborah, and not my mom, another Deborah, as well as Sandy and Kyle. So I have a quote I want to read today. I picked this out. I've been thinking about this. And this is from Gabrielle Roth. The quote is, in many shamanic societies, if you came to a medicine person complaining of being disheartened, dispirited, or depressed, anybody raising their hands on disheartened, dispirited, or depressed, let me know. They would ask one of four questions. When did you last dance? When did you last sing? When were you last enchanted by a story? And when did you last get comforted by the sweet territory of silence? So let's unpack this a little bit because I think this is incredibly interesting. Hey, Curtis. Curtis is in the school bathroom. Sometimes in the school bathroom, you have got to take in a live stream. That is what I'm saying, Curtis. And hey, Melinda, and everybody else. So let's talk about this quote. We need to come back to pure joy from time to time. Honestly, every single freaking day. We need to come back to happiness. So, how do we get to this point where we have stopped doing these things? We have stopped dancing around, singing to ourselves, and we have stopped reading or hearing stories for the purposes of joy rather than reading a self-help book to try to get an edge, or reading a fiction novel for pleasure as opposed to, as opposed to feeling like we have to be studying it for our craft. How do we get to this point where we can no longer be comforted by silence? Well, that's what life does to us sometimes, right? Life sometimes puts us in a situation where everything feels stressful, everything feels like work, everything feels like it is sapping the joy from us rather than contributing to our joy. And so, what can we do about this? Because, as I've already been talking about for, I don't know, about 5.5 weeks now, but I've really been talking about it for longer, is that we have the ability to make more money when we are at a higher energy. We are at more of a joyful energy. And so, if we can have little touchstones in our day that we can come back to regularly, this is not one of those things where it's a one-time use and then it's done. If we can regularly come back to something that makes us feel a little bit happier, we're going to be healthier and make more money. Who here would like to be healthier and happier and make more money? Please raise your hand, or tap your coffee mug on the table by you. Tap that. We all want to be a little bit happier, a little bit healthier, and a little bit wealthier, right? And so if we know some things that can help us to do one of those, it's going to achieve the other two. And so in these societies, as Gabrielle Roth points out, the shamans, the witch doctors, the folks would actually ask 4 questions. Let's go in reverse. When did you last have just a little bit of positive, silent time? Some people do this with meditation. Some people do this just bust out like little 10-minute chunks for themselves where nothing is happening. When was the last time you gave yourself 5 minutes where you didn't have to fill the space, where you held the space, where you literally had a bubble around your time, around your space? You didn't have to be scrolling. You didn't have to be doing something. When was the last time you gave yourself that gift? And it absolutely is a gift. When did you last give yourself some time and space for silence? Because that might be a cure. I mean, this is what the shamans were saying, right? This could be a cure for what ails you. So 5 minutes of silence. Find a time for it. Put the phone in the other room. Feel how that feels. Continuing to reverse. When is the last time you let yourself have a story? And Melinda says, before my second child. I hear you. I hear you on that. And as a parent myself, I do understand. But you are allowed to find this time, and you are allowed to find this space. Barbara has found this space every Sunday, which is great. We need the space for silence. Okay. Number 2. When was the last time you allowed yourself to have a story for enjoyment, not a nonfiction self-help book to get better, not just this relentless, I must try every trick in the book to improve myself, not a, if you're an author who writes fiction, not a story that you are using for research, but when is the last time you allowed yourself to be immersed in a story that you could not gain anything from, a story that was just for the purposes of fun? And that doesn't have to be a book, that could be a movie, that could be really anything. But when was the last time you did this? Because this can lead to more joy. This can lead to more fun. This can lead to more happiness. And more happiness, as we've said, can lead to more money. It's Joy Made Millionaire, right? Joy Made Millionaire. The joy is what precedes the money. And we have several people. We have a lot of authors in our audience, so this is not surprising. Lucia says last weekend made time. Andy says all the time I'm making this time for story. And so this is good that you guys are doing this. I highly recommend it. I think that we need to remember that stories take us to a place. And if we want to be taken to a place that's at a higher energy, at a better vibe than where we are, stories for no purpose, no like attempt to better ourselves, no attempt for research, can make a lot of good things happen in our lives. Let's go on to number 3, singing. Now, I know that humming a little tune to yourself or singing in the car can make other people feel self-conscious. I absolutely get this, but I will tell you, I have always loved singing to myself, and I have loved creating space for that song. Sometimes I will sing it out. I will just sing it out. I will let my emotions take me to whatever notes come out of my mouth. And you know what? Maybe there are people who made you feel self-conscious at times singing to yourself. Maybe you even had a teacher or a parent tell you stop doing that. Well, they aren't around anymore, and I am giving you permission. I am giving you permission to be weird, to be wacky, to sing to yourself. When I was in St. Bart's Island this past week with the amazing group of mastermind folks who are a part of Amanda Francis's mastermind, I have a clip of everyone in the group singing their heart out to Pink Pony Club by Chappell Roan. And it was so fun to see. And there's like, to set the scene, this is at a beachy lunch, out looking, at the Caribbean. Everyone else in this place was 20 to 30 years older than we were. And here we are all standing up at various points, standing up on the chairs, on the tables at this place, singing our hearts out. And it was just pure joy, y'all. It was just pure joy to be up there singing my heart out with a bunch of millionaires. And you know what? I think it kind of goes to show that having more money doesn't make you stuffy. Having more money doesn't make you boring. Having more money is not it's not a clinical thing all the time. Sometimes it is all about the energy. Sometimes it is all about the happiness. Sometimes it is all about allowing yourself to let go and be open and be yourself out there in the world. It is so cool to see that, these folks, yes, smart, intelligent, superstar business people, but they're also singing. They're also singing out their lungs. And I think that is proof of this quote to a certain extent. So when is the last time you allowed yourself to sing? You allowed yourself to let that out, because it might be a key to more happiness, which is going to eventually lead to more money. And lastly, and remember, This is for folks who are disheartened, dispirited, or depressed. When did you stop dancing? I have been doing basically a Tom Cruise in Risky Business impression for weeks. I have been dancing around the house. I have been listening to upbeat music and dancing around the house. And guess what? Guess what? It has led to a better vibe. It has led to a higher feeling. It has led to this sense that more income is on the way. And I am a true believer of this. I think that some of you out there might think I'm totally crazy. Some of you might think that this is actually something they want to try. I would love it if you tried it. I would love it if you considered busting out those great moves that you have and using those to lift your spirits. I was feeling a little bit down this morning. I was tired, didn't sleep as well as I would have liked. And, I just took 10 minutes to dance it out, putting on my inner Meredith Grey, Christina Yang from Grey's Anatomy, and danced it out. And you know what? We lead a solitary lives, us solopreneurs, us business people, us authors, us all of the folks listening to this show. We lead a life where it's just us for various points. And who the heck cares if you are out there dancing it out? Nobody. And if your partner or your child or your grandchild walks in on you, bring them into it. Have them do it too. But you know what? For the most part, we are solo. We are alone for large portions of what we are doing here. And there is nothing wrong with dancing it out. So when's the last time you danced it out? You had fun. You pretended you were in the club, whatever it is. I can honestly vouch for this being the number one thing in the last 3 weeks that has made a difference for me, because I absolutely have been doing this. I absolutely was doing this in my hotel room in the Caribbean. And I highly, highly recommend that you consider dancing it out as well. I do see that Albie was mentioning, I sang and danced yesterday as I made pancakes, celebrating that I get to edit my book. I love this, that you get to. Some people say that I have to, but you get to. I love this. Lucy, earlier, I missed her comment. Thankfully, I have a teen son who doesn't read romance, so I watch shows with him. We just started watching Fallout together, and we watched an episode last night. I love that. I love watching shows and movies with my kid. And it's just so great to take in that story, together. Lucy says, dancing in my kitchen is a favorite way to get exercise, and singing in the car is the best. Singing in the car is the best. You are absolutely, as I reach to get my coffee, you are absolutely correct there. If you are in the car on your own, no one is going to mind you singing it out. Sandra says, last time dancing in November on the boot on the ground with fans, my bones did not know what I was doing. Well, Sandy, I think that's telling you that this is something you need to do more often if the bones didn't know. And Lucy says it was when she rewatched the Opalite video. I love that. Dom says, you have a kid. How? Well, the old-fashioned way. I don't know what you're supposed to say to this. Yeah, I have a 9-year-old. It's crazy. But let's see. Yes, dancing. Stephanie says, dancing in my kitchen is my fave too. Love that. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Stephanie said, I've told my son to stop singing so loud. I need to knock it off. Yeah, let that kid sing it out, Stephanie. Let that kid sing it out. Awesome. Barbara dances and gets the steps. Y'all, this is a therapeutic practice. This is something you can do. This is absolutely something you can do to feel happier. And it seems like some of you already have this routine. Some of you already have this routine going. But what if you unlocked being able to use it at any time when you were feeling down? Anytime when you were feeling down, you allowed yourself to dance it out. You have my permission. You don't need it. I'll say this a million times as we work together. But you don't need my permission, but I give it to you. As Stephanie points out so rightly, you can have some self-care dancing. So, I just came back from St. Bart's with the amazing crew from Amanda Francis's mastermind. What did I learn? Well, it's interesting. We've been together in the group for some time now, and I would say that one of the most interesting things I've learned is that, all these people are working so hard on their energy at all times. Energy is as important as their funnel. Energy is as essential as their email list. Energy is probably even a higher priority than getting the words in if you're an author, or getting the product made if you're a course creator. The energy comes first. And when the energy comes first, this is pretty much just affirms what I've been talking about for 6 weeks here on Joy Made Millionaire. But all these folks, the energy comes first. If you are trying to make this happen while you are down in the dumps, it's going to be a lot harder. If you're trying to force your way through things you hate doing because some course creator told you that was the way, it is going to be really hard. But if you look inside yourself and you think, oh, I want to feel the feeling of what this is going to feel like when I reach my goals, and you concentrate on that and you look deeper at that, ideas are going to come to you that actually align with your goals. They actually align with what you want to accomplish, and in a way that you want to accomplish it. There are certain things that, one thing I was looking at the event was my human design. I use an app called Align, and there is a personality typing thing based on it's somewhat astrology based on when you were born and the time and the location. And based on all of that, one of the ways that I create energy for myself is a generator. And the generator type in human design is one that, if there is something I don't want to do, it seeps energy out of my body. It takes the energy away. And so I realized there were certain things I was doing in my business that I shouldn't be doing. And so for weeks now, I've been handing these tasks off, and my energy is so much higher. My mood is so much better. And that is because, look, this is the way my energy works. So I would say the Align Human Design app is something I relearned in St. Bart's. Also in St. Bart's, I would say that I learned that there are levels to this thing. It's not as simple as poor people are good, rich people are bad. There are so many good, rich people in the world, big-hearted, rich people. If you have a money story that tells you, I can't make money because it would make me a bad person, this is fundamentally flawed, my friends, because I have seen so many good people on this island. Everybody staying at one of these resorts, staying at one of these clubs, they are like, they're probably pretty wealthy. And so, and I connected with so many people that were just great, that were just amazing. And so I know that it is possible to be a big-hearted person and make money. And generally, and this has always been one of Amanda's top lessons, is that if you're in the right headspace about it, if you have the right story to yourself about it, spending money will make you more money. Spending money is not something to avoid. Trying to get the best deal and spend as little as possible isn't necessarily the vibe, as they say. Spending money on yourself to grow your career and to grow your uh, joy and to make your life easier is a good vibration for making more money. And so I highly, highly recommend, after this week's episode, go look at those 4 things I talked about. The joyful silence, the joyful stories, the joyful singing, and the joyful dancing. Look deeper at these, y'all. I want you to look deeper here. And I want you, oh, hey, hey, Luscious Kinspa, good to see you. One of the former mastermind folks. It's good to see you here. So here's the thing, y'all. I really, really want to make sure that you are looking at those key four key joyful practices. And if there's one that you could be doing when you're feeling down, I want you to pick it. Pick one that is your new go-to for feeling good when you are feeling down. So I want you to think about that. That's your homework. Let me know if you've got your homework. I would put it in your planner. Choose one of those, because I think it's going to make a difference. For me, I got to go with the dancing. It's been working so well for me. I am absolutely going to keep that dance party going. But secondly, I want you to think about some of the lessons I learned from St. Bart's. Do you have a story that is keeping you from making money because you think making money is a bad thing and it will make you a bad person? Get rid of that thing. Get rid of that thing for sure. Secondly, have you been avoiding? Good work, Andy. Andy wrote down the homework. So this is your extra credit. Work on that money story that rich people are bad, because it's not true. It's not the ultimate truth, as Amanda would say. Secondly, if you have been kind of just not spending money because you're terrified of it, it's time to work on that. It's time to change that idea, because you absolutely positively could be working on spending money to make money. It absolutely could make a difference for you. So your extra credit, write this down as well. I want you to think about these 2 areas of your money story and think about spending money to make money. Looks like Lucy has chosen dancing. I hear you on the spending and being terrified. It's something to work on, because spending can be joyful. Spending can be an amazing practice. Spending can be just fantastic. And so I want you to really think about, how can you go from where you are now to feeling better on a regular basis, because that is going to be the joy, and that is what brings in the good stuff. So thank you for listening and or watching. I want you to go to joymademillionaire.com if you haven't signed up for getting the 10 ways to add more joy to your business. We would love, love, love to have you in there. so that you can be learning how to have more joy, because that is the goal here. But thank you to everyone who's been here. We had some good old fashioned jokers in the chat. This is the joy of live streaming. But thank you everybody for putting up with the peanut gallery. And I am really glad we get to do this show every week for you. I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. And I look forward to seeing you next week for the next episode of Joy Made Millionaire. Take care, everybody. So long, and have a good one.